This is your weekend market recap for Friday, October 28th, 2022. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your weekend market recap for Friday, October 28th, 2022. Hopefully you're doing well. Markets have done what we thought. Overall, expected rally, market out of position, people extremely bearish. The world showing, remember we talked about high cash on the sidelines going into what potentially the rumors of a Fed pivot, which we know, again, the market knows how to talk up potential that probably won't happen. But long story short, risk management, pivoting, being smart, and always assuming what will the market makers be doing, not what we want the market to do. And that is what? To take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. How does that relate? That's what we're going to talk about again in this weekend's recap. I know there's a lot of new people always popping in. They're like, what is this dude about? What's going on? Let me show you what I see. And then again, you don't have to agree, but let's always be evidence-based. Always. This isn't some like emotional-based thing. That's why I kick people out of the Discord room. If you trade with emotions and your whole judgment can be whacked by the price movements, it means you're not in the proper headspace. Again, think of this as war. Bullet whizzes past your head. Do you just stand up and run scared? Yeah, you're going to get shot. It's the people who slow down, pause, look around, and observe their surroundings. They're the ones who figure this out. Bitcoin. We've talked about this for months. Absolutely brutal trade. But it's not bearish. You can't expect the market to take out the next lows and capitulate until Bitcoin breaks. All assets will break. We talked about it. When the VIX spikes, the baby without the bathwater. Now again, whether you're bullish or bearish on Bitcoin, my whole purpose of reviewing every day is like, it's not bearish for the whole market. If it holds up, you're making, obviously, a freaking hard low, 18,000. Just, that's it. It's hard to be bullish until you take out prior highs. But at this point, I personally would stay away. Again, if you trade this for a living, just be prepared to like trade around a core. Like if I bought it at the lows, I would trade the crap out of this thing. But personally, I don't. Oil. Man, today's action, pretty sleepy, boring. You go up a couple days and just chop out. Probably going to chop out to the feds, right? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. However, everything leads to higher oil, in my opinion. Good GDP, great. Oil goes higher. Fed pivot, oil goes higher. There's no real situation where I look at oil going lower unless there's peace, which I don't think peace is breaking out. And when I mean peace, just the calamity that's going on around the world with oil supplies is changing anytime soon. And we've said this 1,000 times. Before the Fed can really get screwed, oil needs to rise. I'm betting on that because we bet on the Feds making mistakes every time. Because at some point, that's what's going to be the key here. And if we're wrong, you know your exit point. It should be where we talk about getting in, 82, 83. If you're wrong, you're gone. Maybe that whole thesis is just the recession just kicks in way too hard and oil doesn't even pop and the Fed's pivoting doesn't even matter because it's a freaking debt bubble excursion, explosion, excellent ending. Literally. We don't know. Now, betting on that is the low probability. Again, betting on the end of the world. It's always been a sucker's bet. It wins every once in a while, but doesn't really last. Nat gas. Let me pull this sucker up. I got to type for once. NG futures. NG futures. What a difficult trade mentally. You know, and so people talk about nat gas being the, widowmaker. I mean, I told this to Drew, if he's listening, talking to you. If something's hard, just leave it alone. We talked about this broadening pattern. These are hard as crap to trade. You get higher highs and lower lows. We talked about once we got in the trade, here's a losing trade explained. Tried to risk manage. Once it broke, adios amigos. Well, now you get down here in one touch. I would assume that it has to hold the mid-5s if you bought in anywhere near the lows. If not, come right back down. No need to do that. Keep in mind, we expect natural gas to go higher, but how many articles are you reading that natural gas is just flowing out of Europe, which I highly doubt, believe at all. If anything, they're probably trying to stockpile the crap out of it if they're going to actually get, grow the excursion. Anyway, once the ports open, more of it will probably move around the world. Seems way too cheap in dollars. Could be wrong. That's all I'm going to say. Video's over. Goodbye. Just kidding. I'm now on delay due to commercials. What? Oh. Okay. Apologize about that. It puts them in there every once in a while. I mean, every once in a while I'll throw one in there. I don't do it very often, but good to know. Thank you for the feedback. I mean, again, I do all this for free. YouTube's trying to get me to like generate money. I'll make a penny off of you watching the video. Gonna get rich. Just kidding. Trading's where the money's at. Real estate's actually where the money's grown. Oh, sorry, not to divert. Dollar. Lower highs. We talked about, breaking the 50-day could be game over. Now you pop. Now remember, gaps in the dollar don't get as excited about. People go, why do you trade the UP? Because I care about what the dollar's doing when I'm trading, not when I'm sleeping. Say that all the time. I mean, oh, gotcha. Thank you for the feedback. Gap, chop. I mean, I don't know, man. Just be thoughtful. We talk about the dollar going lower near term. The talk of pivot obviously is dog crap, but what do we need to see is like dollar breaking out for the market to get nervous. Clearly, the dollar went higher today. The market didn't give a crap. I expect 29s. Why? Lower highs, lower lows. This is the next major support zone. Thank you, Eric, for all the insight there. Did not know all that. Again, I'm not a YouTube guru. I'm trying to just show videos. Gotten slightly better at it, I think. Why don't you get someone to help you with it? Well, who's going to help me? Nobody. I don't want really help either. This is hard with the dollar. It's popping on light volume. So just be aware. Let me just call that is. Like, all right, when we go down like the evidence tree of things, put the dollar as looks bearish, could pop into the Feds. I mean, keep in mind, Feds are next week. And so if we're going to talk about next week, let me just pull that. Check out the Stock Traders Almanac. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday are all bullish. I've said this 1,000 times. If the market doesn't tank during October, November seasonally can be a pop and chop or pop and flop in this instance is what I'm thinking. So don't be surprised. Again, I don't think the Fed meeting really matters. I think they're going to say, we're evidence-based again, right? We're going to rely on the evidence. Well, the evidence will have to come a little later. Oil going higher will be our ability to precursor and see it. Then election day, if it's a red wave, I'm just, again, whether you left or right, I don't give a crap. The market's going to like a red wave because it's going to put Biden out of position to really do anything. If the House and the Senate go red, I mean, not only was he a vegetable, but now he'll be a, whatever you call him, a dead candidate or a dead incumbent president. Like, can't do anything. Put his collar on him. I can't remember all the jokes you make for a president who has a House and Senate that flip on him. What do you call that? If anyone's delayed, throw that in the comment. So yeah, I think that could bring the dollar down to the 100-day. Man, it's like you're rambling again. Smoke too much weed. What are you talking about? Who said that? Lame duck. Thank you, Zach. It's like lame. I tried not to call the president lame, but what's the best joke for this? What do you call Biden as a lame duck president? Like, what would his nickname become? I'm interested to know what people think there. Lame duck. TLT talked about, this is hard. Now, rates going lower can signify what? Economic slowing, scared market. Interesting. I would say at this point, as I said, if you got in at the lows, cool. I personally don't ever really see V bottoms in these kind of in bonds unless it's a V top off of a blow off move. Now this is tough. I know I'm like zooming back and forth, but chop top, blow off top, and then still chop, a quack. That's not a bad one. So at this point, if you are playing bonds, you got to watch oil. So here's where it gets a little probably confusing. If you're anticipating inflation going higher, then I need to see bonds not get past the 20-day. Take notes of this. I'm telling you, because then if you're unsure, this is what I revert to all damn day. These notes. Right? All right. Keep in mind, if TLT gets bought and it looks like everything's slowing faster, then maybe oil does not go higher. And not necessarily the Fed's pivot, but like this meeting, but it could be their last meeting before pivoting, because the economy could be slowing like rapido, which I don't know if it is or not. It's tough to tell. GDP 2.6%. The VIX, your boy said what? When you tempted to take out the lows in the market, you need to see a confirmation in the VIX. I'm patting myself on the back. Good work. Good work. Because that's what you always need to see. And when you didn't get it, backed off. And now we say when you broke the 20-day, not bearish or not bullish for the VIX. Not bearish for the, not bullish for the VIX, and not bearish for the market. Sorry, I'm laughing at myself, getting distracted. At this point, we're back into the next support zone. We've said nobody. How many people said this gap could be filled in mid-October? Dan, how the hell did you know? Oh, let's go to the monthly. In 2008, preceding the big blowout and bonds dropping, market tanking, you had this pullback. You had a green followed by two reds. A green followed by two reds. That, to me, again, higher highs, higher lows, everything in a bull uptrend. Again, because we're expecting the VIX blowout. I mean, this market is not capitulating. Then guess what? It hasn't bottomed. It's just that's the fact. Like this market, 1,000% ends with a blowout, or hyperinflation, and the market's going to like, I don't know, SPY 50,000. I don't mind being a little late. That's the question. Will the Fed really do anything due to the possibility of the affecting the election? Personally, that's a good question, my friend. I personally think they're not going to want the market to tank. So that's where they might sound slightly pivotish, if that's a word. Pivotish. So that's a good question. I would doubt that they would want the market to absolutely implode before the election. Would we all not agree? That's like, I mean, the plunge protection team is on red alert. That would be hilarious. Yet, I just doubt it'll happen. VIX, so there we go. I mean, these are things that aren't bearish. So tap this down. Dollar, not really sure. Bonds, really close to the 20-day. We'll know soon. Again, expect the dollar to go lower because it's making lower highs, lower lows. The SPY. Damn, Dan. How did you know this would happen? Watch the previous 2 days. It got into the 50-day. I said I would not be surprised by a chop before the Apple earnings. Again, they want the market up in anticipation of the election, just like you did. It would make no sense for them to tank it. I said, watch out. Did you not see the GDP data? Did I not tell you guys that they're expecting 2 point something whatever GDP? If the market liked it, you would know it quick. Well, guess what? Apple's earnings got totally freaking ignored. And look at what happened. Ripped right back on the SPY. As I've said, I've traded around a core since like the 356, 357 area up to 359, and then just been buying and selling, trading it. But not surprised that this action led to higher prices. Bullish. Now we're getting into our target zones. All right, take some time. We really got to talk here. So, yep, OPEX. So my thesis, Zach, you just thankfully interrupted it. You know this. I expect at worst the top to be the next 3 days, first 3 business days of the market, followed either by a retest during OPEX or just the top coming. Wow, Dan, is that really hard? Well, yeah. Watch the videos on why this is the effect. New money comes in during the first 3 business days of the month. Keep in mind also, too, the market is up, off of the lows, I don't know, at least 10 to 12%. So people who are going to get their statements don't want to, if you're a money manager and you're a crook listening to this, you know this for a fact. You are going to buy stuff to put it onto the statement sheet so you don't look like you missed the whole movement and like an idiot. They're paying you 2% to do something, and yes, still pretty crappy. Sorry to get on that rant there. But back to what we were saying. What? New money coming in, then followed up by ChopX. Maybe knock out some of these puts, get the put-call ratio back down, bring in some euphoria, hold the market up into the election. Typically, we're usually early. That's always the problem. I'm warning you now. If you get in short during the first 3 business days of next week, which happen to run during the Fed, and you expect the market to tank, you are taking the lower probability follow through. No one's saying it can't drop, but the probability, we talk about the first top finds a buy. Well, the first top, any pullback probably will get bought. Just like the first drop, we talk about first drop will get bought. Well, if you pull even off the, reverse of this is obviously off the highs. Well, the first high pull down will get bought. Talked about it here. Even when it had a pro gap, look at that, bounce right back. Do we have CPI between the elections and OPEX going in? That could be a top with maybe a retest on OPEX. I'm about 90% sure every month the CPI is somewhere near OPEX. Give me 2 seconds. I'll tell you. Good question. Again, I love the interaction. This is a great question. Absolutely great question because it'll have an effect. I'm looking at briefing.com. Telling you guys it's worth looking at. Good service. I prefer not to share it because I don't want to get copyrighted. But for $540 a year, you divide that up. It is a tool. Let's go all. Okay. So yeah. Let me look this real quick. November 7th. Consumer credit, CPI. Yeah, CPI is on Thursday the 10th. PPI is the following week during OPEX. Isn't OPEX is it the 11th? No, that's what I thought. It's the 18th. So you've got about a 3-week window where the market could play some games. And you want to talk about some games, y'all remember this game before the real suicide drop. Look at these gaps. Like people jumping out of buildings. Sad to say, but that would be the perfect situation. Like chop during Fed meeting, pop on the election, fail on CPI, and then maybe dump. I don't know. It could be quick. I just don't know. But however, I will say if you short near the highs, you have the ability to layer in, layer out, and let it swing potentially. Just don't be surprised if every day is not down. I mean, it's always amazing to me when we get into these upswing trades, how the down days really mess with people's heads. It's like every day has to be up, every day has to be up, every day. No, it doesn't. Observe the evidence. Was I not beating the drum like last couple days? We need more evidence. It's not really showing us everything's at Barry. It was like, what? Meta dumps and it still held up. Google? I don't know. We'll get into it. Anyway, tech. Just be careful. Do you guys see this? This is one of my point is that it's not going to be whatever the first day is, the first top, I would expect some sort of retest. So whatever you think is the top, better not go higher. And if it does, you can stop out. And if you do get in near the high, expect a pop at some point, and you could always short that with controlled risk management. What did we say on the QQQ? Go watch. I said watch the 20-day. I said watch the 20-day. Watch the 20-day. 20-day held. Why does the 20-day matter? Because it was resistance. Chopped around it. Got over it. Now it's support, y'all. I mean, you make it sound so easy. Well, it is if you don't look at the 5-minute chart all day. You just kind of try to anticipate the daily. Remember I told you the game called Guess the Next Candle game? Guess who did that for thousands of hours? What's next? Okay, what's the calendar look like? Okay, what's coming? Boom, boom, boom. Up, chop. Next resistance we talked about. Upper 290s. If you have any questions about this while I'm here, stop me. But at this point in junction, it should be rather easy. Oh, I need to update the fib. 50% fib. Why have I not done this lately? All right, stop the videotape. Listen in. Grab some freaking paper and pen. When you draw a fib sequence and it lines up where the resistance literally looks like it's predictable, 50% fib, 0.382, 0.6. Look at this crap. I mean, I had these zones. The 50% fib is the middle of my box. What the crap? The 0.382 was the high from earlier this week. The 0.618 is at the next box of resistance. When you see this happen, and you can only see it after you draw. Man, I wish I would have done this earlier. It would have helped people conceptualize more. When you see this happen, hey, Eric, if you're listening, you know this because the markets are run by what? The computers, the algorithms. They love the Fibonacci sequencing because it's like the order within the chaos. When swing zones and points of control line up with Fib numbers, pay attention. That usually means the bottom is in. You can usually, again, obviously to say now, but that was another reason. Thank you for confirming. Yep, 100%. This is not me typing to myself. I'm serious. It's pretty crazy how that lines up. And if you've never seen that before, that's what I'm saying. That's why we draw fibs. They matter, but we don't believe in certainty. You know, it's another tool. Like other people love these other tools. I'm telling you, a lot of them are crap. Volume at price, the stuff on the left, volume at the bottom, candles, moving averages. I'm telling you right now, the people who I have seen who are the best traders in the world have nothing on their charts sometimes other than a very few things. The worst traders in the world always have 1,000 things on their charts. I sometimes stretch them until they line up to see about where the end of the trade may move. Yep, exactly. That's another technique. Yep. Would we want to stretch it going up here? I don't know. Because if we do that, this is going to... All right, well... Because you can usually do fib projections down, too. If you did this, you'd say, all right, I'm just about to draw. Do y'all want to see me do some drawing? Some Fibonacci, like, next level drawing? That clearly was the channel. Broke. I got to clean the charts up. I'm going to do it. This is some good stuff. I need to have already done this. Oof. Man, I got a lot of lines here. Okay. So y'all saw how when we drew the fib here, it lined up with the 0.382, the 0.5, and the 0.618, right? Points of control. Remember, I have this daily kind of tight action here. Let's see if the fibs created a downward target. And now you can see how my downward fibs line up. Let me add one more thing real quick. No. Why did you do that? The 1.25. Oh, shit. Okay. Here it is. The 1.25 approximately down. Okay? If we know that's the potential, does it happen? Man, is it... This is where it gets a little tricky here. Would this be another 1.25, or is it some sort of zone tendency? Again, I've thought 390s seems logical, but let's draw it from both positions. So if we go 1.25 down, right? Let's start back over, and let's draw it to where we're at right now. And let's draw it to our points of control potentially, and then talk about down. What would be 1.25? So say we get up here to the point. Okay, the 1.25. Man, it didn't save. Okay, I apologize. I got to save the setting. I'm just talking to nobody as I get this stuff dialed in for you. Come on. There you go. How do I... Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, you can change... templates, set as default. Okay. So the 1.25 would take you down to 244 if that was that. So that's kind of a... Okay. What's 244? We always should zoom out. God, see, this is where it gets tough on the daily. I apologize. It's right in here. Right in... Okay. This is some COVID area. Okay. Let's stretch it back out again. It doesn't feel that. It ain't feeling like that, is it? Let's see. 0.618 was up here around 303. Takes us to 241 now. I apologize for all the zooming in and out. This is just how it's got to be. Okay, 240 area is important. Okay. Okay, man. I mean, if you're running the math on that, that's... Let me see, I can bring it across. Starts around 242 to 240. I mean, just say ballpark, 240. Okay. I mean, that would make sense. You go from 305 down to 240-ish. take the next leg. Does that take you down right in here? Let me draw some more trend lines to kind of see if that would line up. Okay. Could we get down to 240-ish? Man, that's all the way in December. Okay. Maybe that trend line's a little too tight. Again, this is good stuff for you all to see. Sometimes I do this. 240 seems logical. Let me check out the weekly real quick. No, nothing really there. 240 is what I thought the old all-time high would be. Okay. Yeah. Just let's, again, the Qs are lagging. So this is where a laggard lagging, a liger lagging, laggingly. Yeah, I would think the worst case scenario for the Qs, because they have lagged so hard, would be this 100-day 290s. Remember, it's the point. I'm gonna delete this for now because I'm not too concerned about the downside. I want to more remind myself of where the most likely fib rejects, and it will be ideally that 0.618. It's crazy how they line up sometimes. But no, it isn't. Let's look at this. High volume highs, high volume lows. All right, here's another thing. High volume highs, high volume lows love to retest. They become points of control, and they become, like, I feel like the dark pool, like line in the sand, market makers' point of actions, like references. Well, here's like the biggest candle, right? One of the biggest candles. 241 right in here. Look at all this volume right in here. That's a major point of control. All right, good stuff. Any questions before I move on about the Qs? Because this is some of the stuff you look for, how to figure out the swing points, and you got to love when the fibs line up. You got to love when the point of controls line up. You got to love when the moving averages line up. This is the thing that I always say about this stuff. The more of these that line up together makes it more visually difficult for a break, like an area to break. Like, more people will set their targets to that. And the market makers have to know that too, right? Like, they got to get in tune with where they can, like, move, right? Like, all right, well, do we want, remember, because their best move is to what? Sell on the way down. Remember, like Livermore said, like, they hit their points and they start selling on the way down. Well, they got to know what levels will trigger more selling once they hit. Is this clear? Like, you got to think about, like, all right, if we hit this level, it'll trigger way more selling versus hitting this level, right? Hitting this level doesn't trigger the end of the world, potentially. No, if we're trying to mark up to unload, then we need to get into the spots that'll bring in the most. Is this clear? Again, after partaking on, weekend festivities, I want to make sure none of this is confusing. People are like, it's amazing you can do this when you feel like such. Yeah. For someone like me, it's kind of easy. Because I stare at this stuff way too long, but I also stare at the past. A lot of y'all stare at the present. Waste of time. IWM. How do we know the market didn't bottom? Here you go. Did not make a new low. And again, if you're new to the channel, I'm digging in here for y'all deep. This is a deep one, long conversation. IWM peaked in November. That's how we knew it. We knew the market was done. We said this is potentially a fake breakout. Look, it popped and it flopped. Remember the SPY? It peaked in like December, January. Well, it's leading up again, just like it led up in June. Well, 200-day, here you go. 0.618. Remember how we talk about things lining up? 187. Take notes of this, please. I don't mind if you ask me about it, but man, if you don't have this notes and you watch these videos, shame on you. Shame on you. Keep it that simple. That's bullish. Making new highs, right? Sorry, I just got diverted by looking at something on my charts. Making new highs isn't bearish. If it's leading up, it's bullish. Let's look at the ES futures because this is where it can get a little interesting too. Not bearish, right? Making new highs. NQs. This is the one that's the wild card. But again, the laggards are going to lag. We talked about in the 2000s. Who remembers me telling you, like, there was days when the market, the Dow and the SPY would be up and the NASDAQ would be down 2%. It happened a lot. I don't think we're there yet, but I think like it'll lag with 1,000%. Gold. I hate gold. I mean, I just tell people, like, they are, and I think the infatuation for always being long it is what honestly ruins the market in gold. Because it's like once Apple peaks or when a stock peaks, like it's easier to like really mess with people and believe that's always going to go up. Tesla. Yeah. Well, gold peaked. And obviously y'all know I'm a bull long term, but we know with the monthly, I mean, it peaked in 2011. And you've been hearing for years that it's going to new highs and that gold is the future. in the sense of that inflation, this and that. No, I'm telling you, got to get away from that. We have to wait for the Fed to pivot. I'm telling you. And if you're late, who gives a crap? At least you're not losing your lunch. I mean, another person blew out today because of gold and silver, and I was like, please leave it alone. Gap down, hits a 20-day. It's just in a chop pattern. Everyone's calling it a W. We'll see. I warn people, again, be late, not early. And people are like, oh, gold and silver going higher. I agree, but don't be surprised when the paper game gets screwed up first. Buy your physical all day, but playing the paper game, do not be surprised if it blows out. Like, that makes sense to me. Like, the paper game implodes, then goes higher. Because then the paper game has to, like, actually come through with all that physical. Like, somebody's got to be waiting there, like pretend you and I are sitting there at, like, a skeet shooting, and we're just sitting there with our shotgun, and we're like, all right, once this thing goes, once this thing flies, we're pulling the trigger and shooting it. And then we're going to pick up all the pieces. Like, that's what they're doing here. Like, that's the analogy I hope people understand with gold, silver, and the miners. Like, let them blast it, then pick it up with them. Like, it's like they're going to be feasting on ducks or clays, whatever. And maybe the best analogy would be, in a duck blind, and they just all fly over and just pow, 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 pow. That's what they're waiting for. That's what I personally feel like, but people might not agree, and I don't care. I've been trading that stuff so long. You couldn't pay me to be in gold and silver right now. I've told you all that. We played this one trade. We played one trade and left it alone. Remember we talked about breaking below the channel, GDX. How many of y'all remember this? 26. We said, all right, get her out around like 31 to 32 area. You're welcome. If you left it alone and pivoted, Hercules, so proud. Do y'all get that? Painful. House of pain. Kramer's sounds. However, let's digress back to what really matters. Long term, when this bottoms, this is by far better than the GDX. The GDXJ will go absolutely bonkers. We will want the juniors, not the seniors. Crap. I mean, again, it looks the same. But keep in mind, in June and July, GDX had volume and held up much better. Here, let me show you guys again because you're newer to the channel. Here. Oh, sorry. Here. May, and June. Yep. And July held up way better. Let me pull it back again. I can't really overlay the two. See this action? Like you had volume or no volume and rallied barely. Do y'all remember this 24 to 27? What was the GDXJ? It had volume and it rallied. What was that? 29 up to 36. I thought that was a better move with volume. Do y'all see it? Volume at the bottom. GDX just kind of looks like it gets waterlogged. It's not really falling or leading. When gold bottoms, GLD, GDXJ, better investment. Well, here I'll rank them. Gold will be the safest. Silver will be like the crazy one that when the gold goes down, it'll go down more, and when gold goes up, it'll go up more. The GDX will be the slower roller. GDXJ will be will move. Honestly, if you can trade the JNUG correctly and trade it versus like always own it, you are going to print money. So have your levels of risk determined by what? Say you want to do 1-1-1. One's the core, one's the medium-term risk, and one's like the day trading, short-term trading. That's how I would think about it. One you're going to hold for basically ever until it gets way overbought or, time to roll over. The other one you're going to let roll for weeks at a time. The other one you're going to trade. Is that clear? Make sense? Oh, man. It's like I think commercials roll in, and then all of a sudden my viewership drops. That's too bad. AG. Don't care. They can watch later. I know. Holding up tight. Not really interested in it, but we like this name. I mean, when silver bottoms, silver bells. And if you know my Christmas song about silver and gold, do I need to sing that? Silver bells. The middle of December is always the best time to buy miners and metals. Actually, let me review that because it's a weekend recap. People probably don't even know this. Man, this is going to be a long one for the viewers. But all right, here you go. Check out the monthly 10 or 5, 6 level. Let me show you all something. Again, if you're newer to this channel, I feel like there's so many new people. I got to do this every couple weeks. Historically, the best time to buy gold, go watch my video on, literally put on 12:15. Gold and silver are stuck. And it was the bottom. Literally, go watch the video. I swear to God, dropped it. Well, It was the Fed, seasonality, tax loss selling, and something else. Don't remember. That was in December. But why? Oh, repeating patterns. All right. December lows, silver bells, Christmassy time. This one a little different. Obviously, this is COVID, but still, silver bells, Christmas songs. Not every year. Remember, this is a tendency. Christmas songs gone on a rise. And again, the key is not necessarily like the ultimate bottom, but there was a rise afterwards. Silver bells, Christmas rise. All right, I'm not going to do the song anymore. It's pretty terrible. But here's it again. Here it is again. Do y'all see this pattern? Do I need to keep going back and forth? I mean, literally, Eric, we joke about this. You could take off every day of trading and just trade this every year. I mean, you literally could trade this every year. Watch it not happen this year, but the probabilities are strong. I'm going to move on. AEM. No, you're good. You're not 5 minutes late. 100-day. I mean, this is the one. Remember, volume. I'm telling you, somebody knows. Somebody knows. The nose knows. Because if you look like Newmont, dead as a doornail. July earnings, AEM is still higher. The Newmont going lower. Cross this off your long-term list. It'll be slow and boring as schnapps. No, that's Christmassy. Schnappies. Does this make sense? Leave it alone. I'm like getting distracted. It's the grass. Kind of get ADD. Pass on grass. Just let it hang out. This one's tough because that was earnings. I know, but silver is such a slime ball. AMD. Let's get into tech. You got to see this. We talked about this. Holding the channel low. I mean, same guys that told you to short up here. Told you it was probably not going lower. Sideways. I would not be surprised if it hit 73. They got earnings next week. Just keep that in mind. I personally am not playing it long, but if you do play it long, you got references. 59. 59. Goes below 59. Get out. Get out of the way. NVIDIA. Piece of junk, but getting bought. We talked about this. Hitting the channel low at the 50-day. Wouldn't be surprised if you test the gap. Keep it simple. SMH. People really wanted to short this, and I was like, you're over the 20-day. If it holds the 20-day, don't short it. There it goes. I still think a 200 handle. Is it just the 50-day? I don't know. Just keep that in mind. I mean, I want to short semis. We talked about this. These things are the ultimate turds once a commodities bull market starts. Because like their input costs go up. They oversupply. Everybody's cutting each other's prices. I mean, it's just it's such a bad place to invest. But you're never going to hear that except from me because we've lived it. Adobe talked about like this being a capitulation bottom, talked about a little W, talked about you could sell some puts. Everyone's like, it's going bearish. I'm like, we'll see. Backs off. You got it. Get over 330, going higher. Apple. I mean, I've never seen so many people lose their absolute crap with the Qs. Look at this action. Opens at the high, lows, closes at the highs. You want to short it. So do I. We said the mid 150s. We said the mid 150s when it was down here. You got there today. I mean, at this point, you got to look at the 160s, mid 160s. Let's play some fib games. It's kind of like, yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe 160. Either way, please, don't be quick. Now, if this consolidates after a big day, when you see this, right? Here it is. Man, this is a huge day on earnings. I mean, remember, we talked about shorting it up here. You're crazy, Dan. Well, usually the big green candle ain't the top. Maybe if it's... This one's tough. I honestly, I'm passing. Trying to make a prediction on this. I mean, if it holds up, market's not bearish. Now everyone's going to go, we'll hit the 200-day and fails. Well, maybe they're looking at this pattern. We'll see. I still think again, this reaction's not a one-day thing, y'all. I'm telling you. A lot of cash on the sidelines. Amazon broke below the lows, closed the highs. This looks like what Tesla did, and it ended up resolving higher. Just the candle a little different. CRM, I mean, these things are holding up. It's hard to get super bearish. Google, slaughter. Oh, yeah, today's news on Apple will bring in more buyers. That's for sure. I don't think it's a one-day effect. It probably gives the market makers ample time and pressure to unload into. Goog, gaps down, big volume, rallies back. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but over 96, it starts to look bullish. You could call this a bear trap. Now, the precedent is what? Chop. Don't be surprised. Don't get in this thing and go, oh, it's going back to a new highs. Nah, it moves on in like, it looks like what? 20% increments. That's pretty crazy. So if you 20% from, I would say this low, somewhere near 110 probably, maybe that 100 day. All right, hopefully this is helping. I'm trying to like move quick, but I also want to give y'all insight. Like I feel like people think like, oh, you're hiding stuff. I'm like, not hiding anything. It's just we talk about this, and do you watch the recaps? Meta, absolute comedy of errors. We talked about this. Once it broke this low, it was like, good night. Talked it could bounce. Remember the buddy pass, like the double downgrade and rally? Now it's at lows. And I'm not talking about like lows getting, some supplies. I'm talking about like lows. This is, people are going to say generational bottom. Absolutely not. I'm telling you, whatever. If it bounces, it's not a generation. This company, no. AOL got bought out by Time Warner. Someone's going to buy Facebook after it gets super cheap. Honestly, show me, give me some thumbs up. Does Elon taking over Twitter put Facebook in the like death spiral at some point? I'm curious if y'all think that, because I've had this thought. I might have to pop Twitter back in here real quick, just to, because I mean, again, whether you like the guy or not, I mean, he doesn't turn companies into trash. He's always wins, and if he puts his full focus into Twitter, I would not be surprised if it gets cooking. Would not agree? Maybe not. All right. Sorry to diverge. I had to type that in. We'll get back there. Microsoft. What a turd, man. But this is another one that's hitting software, hitting the backside of the slopes. Talking to you like, you better put a helmet on. This guy has been literally smoking weed in the gondola for, I don't know, the whole 15 minutes, taking full gulps of crack, or not crack, but this is under Biden. No, taking full pulls on his pipe. This stock, this is an epic Himalayan drop, and he's dropping in the backside, and it's going to be just a roll down the hill. No, I don't see Facebook going away either, but it becomes like Yahoo message boards. It becomes like Yahoo, or again, it doesn't have a search engine. Eric, I'm with you. I don't think it goes away. It's just another like crappy tool that's out there that's no one cares about. Oh, you still use Yahoo? Yeah, great. You still use, like, I don't know. This stuff always flips. It never stays the same. But back to my analogy, because I was entertaining myself. This guy is just doing barrel rolls down the backside of the hill. Yeah, MySpace. They're all there. I mean, there's iterations of all this stuff, even in the late 90s. You could be wrong. We could be wrong. I don't think so. I don't have faith in Zuckerberg. The guy's a clown. He's no Bezos. Sorry, that's just a joke. Insider joke. This is a tough one, y'all. I just think if you see it pop, if the market's topping and Microsoft looks like crap, short it. NDAQ. Remember what do we say? I can't short it until it rallies. Someone today was like, oh, it hit 62s. And it's like, well, the market hasn't peaked, so I'm not going to assume that it's game over. I've said once they're listing Chinese stocks. Great. The NASDAQ is going to lose all its volume because nobody's going to trade the NASDAQ at some point. Great. And I mean NASDAQ being tech stocks. Like Microsoft's going head over heels down the hill. Facebook's already freaking at the bottom. Ambulance is on its way, or actually more like the ski patrol's on its way to pick its up. Google is rolling down the hill. I mean, we all know how this ends. Everyone studied my tech video. It all ends badly. And it's not because these stocks are going away. It's just the Momo. Once you lose momentum. Okay, someone agrees. Twitter will kill it. Okay, I think so too. We got to put Twitter back on the sphere. Maybe when the bear market's over, Twitter becomes the tech you own. MicroStrategy, because again, people will always go into tech because they're just like that's what they invest in. But commodities will be the sector. Man, I am slow as hell tonight. MicroStrategy talked about it's not bearish. Once it got over the 60s and it held over, that wasn't bearish. I mean, let me try to move faster. Netflix, again, things that aren't bearish. Talked about, literally bought it on the day before earnings or day of earnings, right below the breakout, going, this is going to pop. Gaps up. Said that it was going to go through the 200-day. Said, all right, I'm happy up here. The fib and the 2.5. Not surprised it's holding up. Things that aren't bearish. How did you see the market going higher? Well, Netflix was acting like it wanted to go higher. Trump will make Twitter great again. He might. Roblox. Holding high and tight. We said if you break this downtrend, you're going back into the 50s. All right, time. I finally got trolled. 69 Girls XYZ. They're dropping comments. Feel free to check them out. Let's plug them. Because I know they clearly did their homework and they realized that targeting my audience of 25 people is the best way to get traction for your website. Absolutely. You guys did great marketing job, by the way. Picking my channel. Awesome. Thank you so much. Tesla. Talked about breaking below and rallying back. Today's action, wow. Somebody said stopping power this morning. Let's check out the 10-minute because I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, exactly. At the open, doji, big volume, rallied back, stopping power, closed back near the high of the days. Now, the volume wasn't like insane, but again, you had stopping power. When you have stopping power, you can anticipate with odds, you get a rally. Simple as. I didn't trade it, whatever. Twitter, again, bought out. Why am I saying put the chart back up? Are they... I can't remember. Are they staying public? That is a great question. Time out. I caught my own mistake here. Is Twitter going private or is it going to stay a public company? I don't remember that. I really don't remember that. Again, you would think you would read all the details, but man, not this guy. Totally blew that one. What do y'all think? Or what do y'all know? I don't have time to look it up. I'm moving on. Someone drop a comment. Let's get into commodities. X has earnings today, or whatever, Thursday. Look where it closed, right? It hit the 20-day and popped up. My man, Demdigs, nice trade, bro. What's this trend lines crap? Nice. I tell you, the second squirrel always gets, or the mouse always gets the cheese. I was going to say the nut. It's like, what? Whoa. Hold on, guy. Ticker is gone. Okay, so it's going private. Oh, that's a bummer. There's zero doubt he will wrap that in a bow and put it back out there and IPO it. He will. Y'all know that. He'll clean up the turd. Polish the turd off. Yeah, ticker is gone. Man, why did I not think that? Twitter, or X, holding the 20-day. This should hold. I mean, really that simple. You could have bought that today near 20. What was the low? 2015. Okay. There's your stop, 20-day. Commodities, not easy today. Absolutely annoying as crap. Nucor, another doji. Need more information. Cliff, I hate this stock. Their balance sheet is absolute crap. Everybody loves it. Everyone loves what they think is coming, a big move. Not until. Until what? The pivot. VALE, tons of volume lately. Spin-off potential. I mean, held the lows from September. You got to watch it, man. This volume is growing. The stock is going to be a freaking monster at some point. Again, we need to get through also the Brazilian elections. Keep that in mind. Arrow holding up. Copper, my man. CCJ. What did we say yesterday? Yesterday's candle was an absolute anomaly. Not surprised it back tested and then closed near the high of the day. Very sneaky formation there. You know how we talk about volume price analysis? You know how we talk about like anomalies, or sometimes you can recognize anomalies and things that are obvious. Well, anomaly being what? A big candle with low volume. Red alert. Red alert. He's got more freedom as he will please rebuild what? Yeah, he's going to rebuild his wealth in private, no doubt. He's going to try to build Twitter, no doubt. Zero doubt. He knows. CCJ, though, doesn't look that bad. You know, I hate these names until, again, capitulation, but, I mean, they're building a vertically integrated nuke system. Company that installs nuke systems and has the supply. Vertically integrated. I like it. I like it. CF, today's action, damn disappointing. Let's call it what it is. Holds the 50-20 day and breaks out. Damn you, market. Damn, you traded badly. No, you couldn't have seen this coming. Nobody. Nothing you can do. What the? We added some dips. Did not sell rips. Sad. Building a bigger position. Earnings are next week. We like the stock because it's lower left, upper right. We know natural gas prices lower helping. We know people. We know people. We know Europe is limiting fertilizer because they're stockpiling gas. They're stockpiling inputs. They're a bunch of idiots. Did I say that out loud? Anyway, we know Canadian agricultural supply companies got game in the next bull market for sure in commodities, but they're holding up pretty well. Mosaic, same kind of thing, like kind of wide and loose here. Look at the chart since July. That looks bullish. Until all this stuff rolls over to it. You can't believe in capitulation. NTR, you are playing games at the 20-day, which is cool. We talked about buying it as close to 80 as possible. Even if you got into 80s, cool. Holding up. If the market holds up, this thing will break out. It seems very logical. Let's run some fibs. Where's the resistance? Okay. Trend line could be mid-90s. We'll see what happens. Again, it all depends on what the market's going to do. Think about probabilities. No one's selling you uncertainty. If you believe in certainty, then you're not paying attention to how I'm trying to explain this stuff. XBI, again, we got bullish on this. Said, watch the formation. Chop, chop, chop. Once it holds, it goes. Talked about you could buy it around 77. People are like, I'm selling it. Cool. I didn't sell any. I like this. Holding up better. Once it gets over this 100 or 250 day, again, things that aren't bearish. Things that aren't bearish. Nowhere near the June lows. Oh, how do you know the market's not going to tank? Well, XBI did not break down. And when I say break down, like it didn't, like it just kept holding up. XBI impregnated you today? I wouldn't know. I think that's a good thing, bro. I think so. All right, things that aren't bearish. Financials.
Welcome.
Oh, what's up?
This really gives me a charge. By the way, you have one new notification.
Thanks, Siri.
When you see the yellow light ring on your device,
why are you talking
it
still?
means you have a notification or message. Just say, read my notification.
That is hilarious. I don't know what Alexa thought, but when I said impregnation, she got real chatty. Thanks, Drew. Financials leading. This is not lagging. We talked about, like, the market's not tanking with financials ripping higher. Oh, but Dan, look at these formations. I was like, light volume, and they're making higher highs and higher lows. Doji sandwich. Remember we did the Doji sandwich. Out here with Traders Candle Forum. The Doji sandwich is a strong candle formation. If you know that voice. That's bullish, y'all. I'm telling you. Said lay off it. I mean, again, it's like, how did you know the market's going higher? Evidence. Hang out with me. Let's see this stuff for what it is. Again, Morgan Stanley did not get anywhere near. Remember, this is earnings. Nowhere near the lows breaking down. Man, that voice really messes with your throat. JP Morgan. I'm going to do this every video. Real men of genius. Talk down the economy. Get people to sell their stock and then rise it up in their face. Downgrades the economy, say the market's going to drop 20%. His stock goes on sale and goes from 100 to 126. Here's to you, Jamie Dimon. Nice work for fleecing the public. You probably got a ton of shares and up 25% in a month. Real men of genius. Solar. We said for weeks, please don't short it. We talked about shorting at the highs and then took the trade off. Said, please just wait. Tan. Look below and fails. Usually resolve higher. Just shut up, Dan. Don't say the same things that no one listens to. Said this piece of junk was going to hold. Look what it's doing. It's even popping. ENPH told you to buy it on the dip because of a repeating pattern. Said last time it gapped up big on a doji, it ended up going higher. Well, gapped up doji, we talked about buying it on, I guess that's Thursday, 290 area. Look at them apples. Got up to 310, 315, 313. Oops. Holding high and tight. Please, you want the breakout here. You want them to call this the J hook. The J hook. Get back up, make new highs. Oh, man. That's what I want to short. First Solar. Earnings today all over the, earnings last night all over the place. Hit the range. Did not short it. Maybe I regret that, but we called this fake breakout. Why don't we make it a double top? Why don't we just do this? Now, again, I'm just projecting. Don't trust it 100%. But if I'm the market makers, I'm doing the freaking Ronald McDonald top. Steal it all, y'all money. The Robler. Come in and take it. Draw me that M. That would be the tightness. We'll see. I mean, again, we could be wrong. If you want to short up here, you know your references. Just have stops. Are we there yet? Oil. Yeah, we're there. Slightly disappointing today. Hit the 200-day, backed off. You were buying it down here in the 70 range. Slow and steady. What have we said? The Feds can talk dovish or talk pivot until oil does the party. And we're not at the party yet. We've said minimum 100 on oil. Doesn't make sense for them not to get it there. Nat gas. Oh, man. What a beast. Comes back down. Remember UNG's, decays. Piece of junk. We're getting there. We'll get to ExxonMobil, my friend. Nobody was calling new highs on ExxonMobil other than me. Nobody. Fact. Check that one. Go to old videos. 18. Got to hold it. Again, if Drew's getting emotional about nat gas, is probably the bottom because he didn't stop out earlier or just wants it to go higher. Again, emotions really. I mean, you see people who are emotional get used. That they're there. They're literally like they're really good at getting tells on the Feds, not the Feds, on the market makers. ExxonMobil, my man. How high can it go? I mean, we're breaking the new highs. Now, could we hit that upper channel? Oh, shoot. That would be nuts. Let me undo this real quick. Let's do a Fibonacci extension. I'm going to do it from here. Remember we talked about the 200-day holding? Oh, man. You got clear skies. Let me throw another one in here. No. Don't do that. Why can't I just see the 2? Can't I see the 2? Why can't I see the 2? Why are you... Man, my keyboard sucks. Delete. There you go. Okay, there goes the 2, around 120. Give me 2 seconds. I'm drawing on the monthly on another chart. Or on another... Okay. Here you go. This is what I'd guess, man. Check the monthly out. Upper high, 117, since that's the next month. 2, I would say 120. How many of y'all have read Reminiscence of Stock Operator? I got to ask that question before I keep going on. How many of y'all read that book? 2 times range, 120, minimum. How many of y'all have read Reminiscence of Stock Operator? Okay. Do you remember his story when he talks about stocks that like hang out under par? And then he, his story is he waits for it, and then he's like, it's as good as good once it's good to go once it gets over it. That feels like that. This is that kind of that stock action. Yeah, Eric, 30 times. Yeah, 30 times a year for me. I try to listen to that book while I'm at the gym over and over and over once a month, at least. He talks about the story how once a stock gets over par and then it goes on a ride and becomes the, the sensation of the month or whatever. This feels like the sensation of the month. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But this is the feeling that I have on it, is that if it couldn't go down on earnings today and you're going into the beginning of the month, you're going into leadership. Yeah, you remember that one, Eric? Like, y'all should all know. He talks about, like, when it gets over par and it builds, it usually goes to 120, 125. He talks about stocks and 200s go to 230, 250, 300s, 350, like that move. This feels like that's going to happen. Because now that it is over new all-time highs, oh, you heard that one yesterday. Oh, that's hilarious. See? It just seems like it's gaining, what do we say? The best advertising for higher prices are higher prices, right? This one will catch momentum. SPY will come down soon. No. Not soon, meaning no. Not soon. Not at all. I don't think so. Oxy. The evidence does not point to it, Eric. If you're watching the video, and this is another Eric, the evidence says you're wrong. Occidental. Nice little backup and pounce. I mean, the volume's light. I mean, I don't think we're there yet. What's going to happen soon? What, the 13Fs come out? Yeah, SPY will probably chop it worse. I agree. Like, the evidence doesn't say the SPY is about to come down. Eric Martins, watch the video, man. I love how people just have thoughts. I think the world is flat. Okay, well, have some evidence, Kyrie. Here you go. I mean, it's probably going to get back up in the upper 70s. EQT, they'll stop the recording. Wow, an hour for the weekend recap. Nobody's going to watch this, I guarantee. That's all right. Only 5% will succeed. Pretty wide and loose action today. We had to agree that EQT, man, it's like playing games. It's super hard. It's like ExxonMobil or EQT. ExxonMobil. But here you go. Here's your reference if you got to play it. All right, I'm going to end it on this. I hope, again, this is the recording. I'm going to open up for like 15, 20 minutes of just live chat. I appreciate everybody. Again, please, if you are thinking about real estate at all and you remember the TLT action during 2008, rates dropped dramatically and home prices fell like a rock. If you want to get a long-term investment at a low interest rate, talk to me. Let's plan this. I'll help you find an agent anywhere in the country. You'll get a referral fee, but you also get help along the way. That's what I do. I don't just put people in a situation and walk away. I love helping people with this because I think you're going to find, and I literally this afternoon went and looked at 10 properties, eyeing stuff. I am going through the process of that if this happens and rates drop quickly and the housing market freaks out because there's no one around in the winter, because the winter is the worst time to buy a house, and it accentuates some of the down move, it is going to be a awesome opportunity. Keep in mind, in the 70s, house prices doubled. High interest rates mean high inflation. High inflation means what? Costs to build go up. What happens when the cost to build go up? Prices go higher naturally, right? There's margins that are built in. It's what inflation does, right? The cost will go up. So if you can buy a house that's worth $500,000 at a base, and then it doubles, and because the prices double, and the commodities to build it, the margins. I mean, you know how this works. That's what inflation is. The best hedge. And then what happens when the housing market does get better? You can rent it. I mean, it's just, God, man, it's how you get rich. It's literally how you get rich. Anyway, stopping the recording, keeping the live stream.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.